There's something happening to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it.
What did you see?
There's a crusade coming.
Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them?
Yes.
The test is simple. Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
What's in the box?
Pain. You inherit too much power. You have proven you can rule yourself. Now you must learn to rule others. Something none of your ancestors learned.
My father rules an entire planet.
He's losing it.
He's getting a richer one.
He'll lose that one too. Arrakis is a death trap.
I'll kill them. This is an extermination. They're picking my family off one by one.
Let's fight like demons.
An animal caught in a trap will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
I know you.
One day, the legend will be born. All of civilization depends on it.
The future. I can see it. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
My Lord Duke.
Where the fear is gone, only I will remain.
Go, go, go! Welcome to the periodic table of awesome. Hello, and how is everybody this evening?
I'm
We're back
so
in a different
excited to have
way.
you back.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. Hello everyone out there, and hello to the chat. And I've just read the thing that says, oh, there's the forbidden butthole. And I was like, totally thrown me. Now I don't know what I was going to say. I'll just get introduced to myself.
My name's Magnus.
Yes,
Not
hello,
forbidden,
yes.
but
Hello, we're joined, I'm back as well, but, you know, important one. No, I'm back. Dion, yes, Dion is back, because...
Are you a forbidden butthole, Dion?
Definitely no. I'm everybody's butthole, Quinny. I'm not a forbidden butthole.
Yes.
I'm just an unwelcome butthole.
Okay, because Magnus has
just...
just stated that he is not a forbidden butthole.
no.
I'm not going to go any further with this because Peter is giving me the eyes that say, don't fucking ask.
Oh, shut up. Who managed to know? I don't
Glad you could read that, Quinny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The eyebrow, when the eyebrows go up higher and higher and higher.
Yes, I know. It's a slightly irregular one, but we're joined tonight for this show very specially because... for the second round, after the last time we had someone on talking about Dune, which was Magnus, all the way back in 2017. Yes, 4 years ago, we had Magnus.
Bless the maker!
we were in Perth and we did a podcast recording with Magnus, and now
We were actually in Perth at the time. Yeah,
it's the
I'm from
future.
expensive town, everyone.
Freedom Town.
Oh, no. As we like to call it, the Arrakis of Australia.
Yeah.
So
iron ore extends life.
Yes.
Which in that metaphor, then who from Western Australia is Baron Harkonnen?
Reinhardt.
Reinhardt. Baron Reinhardt.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh my
imagining
God.
Gina floating around.
Gina floating around. Gina with like suspensors, just going around going, your poison gas tooth will do nothing to me.
Yeah, well, who's the Atreides, the Duke Leto in that sense?
Oh, like Daddy Premier, absolutely.
Oh,
like,
Mark McGowan.
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Mark McGowan, of course, Mark
Excellent.
McGowan is Duke Leto.
And then
He's the good guy. He's protecting everybody.
the Sardaukar are all the anti-vaxxer protesters.
That's why they do throat singing.
That's right, yeah. I'm on the train to Frio. Anyway, I know
boy.
some Perth local humour. There we go.
Yes.
Done. Anyway,
Mention the sports teams, absolutely.
yes, the
Yes,
sporters
yes.
teams. Oh,
I'm just here. I'm meeting Peter for the first time, who I'm very happy. It's really nice that we have a film expert because
yes.
I like film experts a lot because
that's really overselling me, unfortunately.
you're
I
in
feel
the
myself as
industry,
a
right?
film. I am. Yes, I am the industry. I do some documentary work for a job. I don't know that makes me a film expert in a broad sense.
Peter,
I'm more
you're
of
the
an
most qualified
enthusiast.
person here when we're discussing Dune. Because
Yeah, if we're actually talking qualifications.
yeah.
yeah.
I do have a degree.
Yeah, yes. I also do want to point out that you did just say, I am the industry, which is like,
I'm in the industry.
Just changing
oh
your
no, let's
name
go back to I am the
Palpatine.
industry. It's much better.
And welcome to down there.
I
by
embody
Palpatine.
the
Hello.
industry.
Excellent.
I am the industry.
Transformation is almost complete.
Oh dear, excellent.
Oh yeah, you're going to be a guild navigator in no time. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
suck up that spice gas, and you'll be in the 1984.
I'm so
Lynch
I
version.
have lots to say about the Navigator, so we will get to that.
sure. I miss the weird, freaky vagina mouth of navigators from the 1984 one. Yes, Peter, you haven't seen it. We know you're missing out, but we'll get there. All right.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will.
What's-
So what
what's
are
our
we talking about? We're
qualification?
not talking about the David Lynch's 1984 magnum opus, which there is now more versions of than there are in any other David
Yeah.
Lynch film.
Yeah, no, the Albert Smithy version, I think.
Oh,
Alan Smithy. Yeah.
yes. So because he never actually put his name on the longest,
Well,
crazy ass version, did he?
Once it got an extended release, this is a tradition in Hollywood. I mean, this is a little bit of weird trivia, but I'm sure Peter knows, and I'm sure the viewers know already. But yeah, if you don't want your name put on a project and you're the director, you accredit to Alan Smithy, which is why the June 1984 version, the extended version, David Lynch refused because it was one of the few projects he was ever on where he was denied final cut, which is why it's accredited to Alan Smithy because he was
Alan
there.
has done a lot of
saying,
work in Hollywood over the years. Alan has
yeah.
quite the background.
If anyone has a chance, just to go on IMDb right now and look up Alan Smithy, 2 E's, Smihtee. Look up all the Alan Smithy projects, and you can see all of the amazing projects where directors got really pissed off with the production company and said, you can release it if you want, but I do not want my name on this thing.
I had a thing when I was quite young that I remember looking at and seeing that name come up a few times, and I'm like, man,
Right,
that guy has directed
That guy's
a
so
lot of
prolific.
stuff.
Yeah.
But more importantly, he's directed a lot of shit.
Well, he went straight.
Like, he's not good.
He went. He went from there, and then eventually ended up doing Hellraiser Bloodline.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh
know,
man.
quality.
If we start talking about Hellraiser, we're going to be here
No,
for a very long
No.
time.
no,
Yeah.
This is
We're
great.
We're not
so
going down that path.
Let's.
So, but we can't talk. There's no way that we can talk about this 2021 Denis Villeneuve version without referencing the Lynch version.
Really?
Right?
That's almost nigh impossible.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's true.
I would agree.
This is why we
Yeah.
have Peter. So now the framing here is Magnus. You are obviously our Dune expert. So that's why.
And
you're here.
I just want to make sure, because I have a bunch of my Dune friends watching, like who are going to be like watching on this,
Like-
people that are way more well versed in Dune than I am, including Quinn's Ideas, the YouTube channel Quinn's Ideas, who I met at Dune Club. Yeah, different Quinn. Yeah.
Okay.
What's in the box?
He has a lot more.
What's in the box?
Yeah, the other Quinn, he has a lot more melanin than you.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And is one of the
Many do.
honestly smartest people you will ever see on YouTube. If you want to look up some amazing Dune stuff, look up Quinn's Ideas. It used to be called, his channel used to be called Ideas of Ice and Fire, where he would basically like rip the shit out. Oh, wait, can I say that?
Yes. You can say
okay.
shit.
God, we swear so much.
Fuck.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
awesome.
We don't care.
Oh, okay. Well, this
You
cunt
can
was
refer
doing
to
some
the shy
fuck shit.
halud as a cunting
Yeah.
fuckbag, and nobody's going to be concerned.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to say, okay, if I know it's a bit early in the show to start just like sucking the D. Nice to see you, D. But I just say Quinn, his channel used to be called Ideas of Ice and Fire, and I met him in the original Dune Club, which was a book club that was put together by this amazing individual, Comic Book Girl 19, who started off Dune Club, and it is one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life. And I met some of the most incredible people there, including Quinn, who has his YouTube channel, Quinn's Ideas. It used to be called Ideas of Ice and Fire, where we would talk about a lot about Game of Thrones. But he is, if you want to talk actual experts in Dune, go look up Ideas of Ice.
Can we just say you're our expert?
Yes.
I've read the book. I'm the
is-
only one here who's read the goddamn book, so I guess I'm the expert.
And make
I was just gifted the audio book, which I am looking forward to listening.
Oh, wait. Who's the reader? Who's the
I
reader?
actually haven't opened the package yet, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh man. Oh, dude.
You will get that. And knowing that both Quinny and I have seen both cinematic versions of Dune, that gives us
And the televisual version.
yes, and
Oh, yeah,
Dune.
so-
yeah, as well.
Yeah, everyone seen the sci-fi series?
Yeah.
Peter, what have you seen?
Seen the 2021 movie Dune Part 1.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh, wait! I just want to ask you, Peter. It's amazing that you actually caught that it was called Part 1, because that was on screen for maybe like 1 second,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When it first came up as a title, it was on like if you blinked, you would have missed that it's called Part 1, right?
But when you get to the end of the film, there is no question in any motherfucker's mind that it is definitely Part 1.
It's worse than The Sopranos when you
Oh.
get to the end. Like, it's just like, and we have a walk in the desert. And there's the end of the movie. Okay.
Yeah, so sorry,
Yeah.
that is technically spoilers, and we should wait until the spoiler section for that. But I am gonna no, I did that. But I will say that my initial takeaway from this film is that it is very definitely only half the story. And if you
yeah.
if you are going into it thinking I'm going to get a full and complete story, or if you're even going to get a full and satisfying narrative, methinks you're probably going to be a mite
Is
disappointed.
it a bit like the Sarlacc, Quinny? You just see the tip and most of it's underneath.
I don't know, but Peter has a face that says she
That's
disagrees.
a sand reference. Come on, if I'm going to cross-pollinate.
No, that was a face regarding Dion's just the tip reference.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I,
bad.
I feel like
the preference.
if you're not
Joke.
already part of a fandom, it's a little bit of a problem not having
Yeah.
a story with a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah. I'm really fascinated. I really want to know what it felt like for you, Peter. Like you saw Blade Runner, you saw Villeneuve's Blade Runner.
Yes.
Okay, and but you saw original Blade Runner.
Yes.
So that would make this okay. So that would make this kind of an interesting comparison, right? Because if you saw Ridley Scott's Blade Runner and then you saw Villeneuve's Blade Runner, but this is a new beast where you didn't see Lynch's Blade Runner,
Dune.
Lynch's Dune, or Alan Smithy's Dune. You didn't see Alan Smithy's Dune, but you did see Villeneuve's Dune, and you haven't read the books, and you're clearly a person who understands how the mechanics of cinema works, but this is a story that's new to you. So what when you left the viewing experience, what was it that you had? Like, what did Villeneuve give to you at the end?
It certainly wasn't a sense of overall satisfaction in a story sense. I mean, the thing is that I know that there is a deep fandom for this. And it left me feeling as an audience member that this film wasn't for me as a person outside of the fandom. That it wasn't attempting to draw in an audience that didn't already know what it is.
Right.
I don't think that it made it necessarily a bad film, but I felt like the filmmakers weren't speaking to me at all as an audience member or expecting me to have any kind of connection to it. And it's weird because I'm not like, the story itself definitely has elements that are really compelling to me. And if this was a 6x1 miniseries of the same quality, I would be excited to be watching episode 4 at this stage. But do I care now that I have to wait 2 years or a year and a half or however long it's going to be?
Let's be honest, it's going to be minimum 2 years.
Yeah.
So because of that, I have a kind of few shits to give now about what happens to these characters.
My hypothesis was that is what was going to happen, and seeing as you're somebody who understands the mechanics of not only the industry but cinema itself and how this thing has presented itself, I think maybe Villeneuve has dived a little too far, and I have some examples later on, but he's definitely put a lot of eggs in this basket as far as he just wants to let the people who are fans know that he is also a fan. And I think at points it's to the detriment of the film. I think it's undeniably a better film than Lynch's version. Lynch is, and we've gone through this before, I don't like David Lynch.
Oh my God, I don't like David Lynch either.
Does anyone here?
I'm very unlikely to ever watch a David Lynch version just because.
Eraserhead.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we've been waiting for. Woo,
before we go too far down that, though, I do want to ask the question: what about for people who don't know anything about Dune? Quinny,
good.
Potentially, do you have a synopsis of Dune?
Yes. Do you have any kind of musical backing?
Ooh, let me check. Let me check my desk. Oh no, we don't have to sing. I might have something. Let me just check my desk and see if I've got some music from 6 weeks ago, the last time I did this.
Fuck's sake. Paul Atreides, a brilliant and gifted young man, born into great destiny, beyond his understanding, must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family.
What we don't understand in the first book
and
is that
people.
he will eventually become a complete knobhead that will create millions of deaths. The entire story of Dune 1 is for us to not ever listen to famous and charismatic idiots that pretend to be the one who are the masters of their destiny. Don't listen to them because we wind up starting fucking wars. Blah!
As malevolent forces shut up, explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence. Only those who can conquer their own fear will survive. That is a very, very interesting synopsis.
Wait, was that live? I thought
Yes,
this was one of
it's
those-
all
oh,
live.
shit.
No, it's great. I love it.
I thought that was one of those parts where you were playing a trailer.
No. That's
Oh, god damn it. I'm so sorry, Quinny. Man.
it's perfect. I love how
Fuck.
else it is.
It's so
great.
good.
Oh yeah. No, but that's exactly
Okay.
you're actually right. It's like Paul, a whiny brat who has been raised to become some sort of figurehead,
Fucking
suddenly
hell, I'm
becomes
so
more
sorry,
of a
Quinny.
figurehead. What a
I-
dick shit.
I
all
thought you were
good.
doing a bit for like the three of us while the viewers were watching a trailer.
Oh no.
Because I've just moved house. I'm only on a laptop. I don't
It's
have
true,
a
it's
second
true.
screen.
It's opposite.
If I had Twitch up on the other screen, I'd know that. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
It's all good.
However, it
The
does
point
bring up an
stands.
important point. Yeah, that this movie and basically the book in general and the Lynch version all suffer from the same social commentary that it's the the white savior, right? It's the
Oh,
story
yeah.
of this like Mr. Whitey von Savior guy shows up into the foreign land and becomes the Messiah that is just going to save everything. And it's one of those stories that was very popular throughout,
Lawrence of
colonial
Arabia.
expansion.
Yeah.
Bingo, exactly, yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to hear that take because I thought that maybe I was reading it in like a grumpy way and I didn't kind of want to shit on the fandom with my overall takeaway, which is this is a story of a very special boy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but that's okay. If I don't know if any of you have watched the Red Letter Media take on this.
I haven't watched the Dune
Colin.
one. I've watched the Star Wars ones.
Okay, like they've just released their June 2021 versus 1984 version of this, and I know if anyone's a Red Letter Media fan, but there's Jay who is a big David Lynch fan, and Colin who's a big Dune fan, and we're talking about this. But the important thing is, and it doesn't come across in this film or even in the Lynch film or in most of the fandom, is that Paul Atreides is a villain. He's a villain. He's not because it's kind of a trope of this the chosen one, right? You have the chosen
The
one.
hero's journey.
Because it's good. This is not the hero's journey, right? All of us are when we see a movie, we're ready to see the hero's journey. This is not the hero's journey. Paul is a monster created by the horrors of the way society works. Okay, and this is one of the things that like Dune fandom is it's a very difficult thing to get across, especially in very politicized times like this, where you have to try and defend a story like this, where the first book is obviously just this kind of guy from privileged society shows up and shows these desert people how to become their savior. The real story of this is do not trust people who show up and say they are the savior. All right, that's what Dune's really about. And
Do you feel like that Villeneuve's actually going to get there in the end, though?
Absolutely. There are so many clues. For those of us that that have read the book or that are like fans, and that's something I was saying before. Is I think the film mechanically the film suffers because of all of these clues that Villeneuve is putting into the film to show the fans. He's like, hey, fans, I'm definitely a fan. I definitely know how this story works. And anyone who's watching this for the first time is like, why the hell are there bulls everywhere? What is with the bulls? Why is there like bullfighting stuff? And what's with this weird sequence where his face lifts up and he's like stabbing people? There's a bunch of things that are in that sequence, and okay, I'm gonna have to unpack this because all of you watching, you saw that there were a bunch of bullfighting like elements, right?
Yes, there's a theme, a metaphor, some sort of Spanish bullfighting metaphor. Yes,
it's not in the book. It's kind of a weird touchstone that the House Atreides keeps going back to, and it's supposed to be an idea of humility, that you are
cattle.
If you are searching for glory in a violent way, you will die, right? The chance of being dead is, and of course, Paul's grandfather died fighting bulls, which is like,
okay,
it's the year 10,000. It's a fucking stupid thing to do. Why would you fight a bull? It's the year 10,000. Don't fight a bull.
Because he's got a personal shield, and it's the slow,
exactly.
The slow
it's
horn.
Fucking stupid.
The slow horn penetrates the shield. That's the point.
How's your shield doing, Dion?
I'm parabolic.
But okay, I don't know if it was just me because I've read the book and I understand the bullfighting.
I missed
metaphor.
that. I missed that entirely.
Really? That is amazing. That's amazing to me.
So sorry, Pete. Did you say you didn't see the bulls at all?
No, I didn't see any of the bullfighting metaphors. Can we have an example?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so there were. I thought it was excessive, honestly. Like as somebody that knows the story, I thought, oh geez, you're laying it on a bit thick, aren't you, fucking Villeneuve? Jesus Christ! But he had a little statue of a bullfighter and a bull. Oh, yes. When they were packing up
the giant
the bull.
There was a giant bull head and there were horns. When they like pan across the ceiling, there's a bull's head with horns. And when they go to the graves,
you say it.
That's just random production design when you don't have the background.
That's okay. But see, this is what I'm talking about.
I mean, there was the obvious metaphor of Vladimir Harkonnen being the bull charging towards Duke Leto, and right at the end, he, did his little Olay and tried to poison him. Duh.
Okay, this is something that I was wondering that when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, I bet I will put fat money on people seeing all of these bull horns and bullfighting and bull metaphors and assuming that it's a stock market analogy, that they're talking about like, the bull market being because
spices
Arrakis
money
is now being exactly.
Okay, I get that too. That works. So Arrakis is Wall Street. And the desert planet is just the means of production that the farmers earn, and the freemen are the serfs, and the giant.
The Fremen. Don't you dare call the Fremen the serfs. No.
No. Okay, we're getting really.
No.
Yeah. There's a lot of mixed metaphors and whole.
You're
bunch
gonna
of
start.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
The Fremen have the really subtle name of freemen.
Yes.
So they're in no way serfs.
Yeah.
Well, Fremen don't surf.
No.
The Morgan
so,
Freeman.
Okay, let's just just sort of wind it back a little bit.
Okay.
So we have our story, which is about Paul Atreides and Leto, and this. There's a big political kind of explanation and a lot of heavy exposition done in the effort to say, why are these people who live on a very green, watery planet going to a very dry, sandy planet?
Yeah.
And there were some bad people on the planet beforehand, the Harkonnens, and
they're not just bad. They for 80 years they have controlled this. They've controlled the center of the universe. Like they have amassed so much wealth that it's beyond disgusting.
So they're Gina Reinhardt.
They are Gina Reinhardt.
They are Gina, exactly.
They are the Reinhardt.
They are Gina
dynasty.
Reinhardt. Yeah, there's like it's repulsive. It's absolutely repulsive how much power and wealth that they have. And then the Emperor, who is not in the movie at all.
This is a thing that I wanted to bring up because I thought there are a few things that to me felt like they were missing in terms of storytelling.
Right.
One of which is the Emperor. Like it's mentioned, it's talked about, and the influence is felt. But
on the Liet Kynes character, especially. If anyone remembers who I'm talking about.
Nope.
Okay, Liet Kynes, the imperial ecologist, who saved them from the Sardaukar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's a gender swap character in the original David Lynch, but that's with Max von Sydow played that character.
Ah, that's that one, right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Liet Kynes, and Liet Kynes is an amazing character, a fantastic character who is bound by imperial law, which is basically like physics. You can't go against imperial law, but it's also a Fremen. It's also part of the desert. It's part of how life is really lived in this world. But when they gender swap that, I was really kind of, I hope this can get us into a talk about casting like after this, but I thought the Liet Kynes character was like so badass. It was it was so well done.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, like there's always going to be, and I find when you're talking about these films and Dune, and also want to my personal preference is the 1984 one I call Dune, the 2021 one I call Dune, because for a bunch of space
Because of the
people,
bagpipes?
there's fucking bagpipes, man. I mean, they get off
That's
the
the Dune! That's Dune!
We're
How dare you!
Dune, sir. How are you? Okay, not too bad. I'm Duke Leto. You know.
We inhale space and we drink iron brew.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Yeah, so I feel like this is where I get to the Dune, part of it. Which is a weird choice, but I like how they sort of mashed up the cultural stuff. But you're always going to get the comparison between the 84 and the 2021 one, and that's when it's
definitely going to happen. Of course, we're going to have those.
There is, but also I think it's really important that we do have Peter here who doesn't have that comparison.
Sure.
And I'm fascinated by that more because you know whether this works as a standalone film without all of the prior knowledge. And I mean, I came into watching, the 2021 one, having watched the David Lynch one 4.5 years ago, and still had enough knowledge of the world and the politics and everything to kind of piece things together. But from somebody who doesn't have that, Pete, does this work?
You know what? Listening to Magnus, I'm actually starting to think it worked better than I thought it did. only because I'm beginning to understand that some of the things that I read that I thought were just me hating on the characters are actually an intentional part of the story. Now, does that mean that it works as an independent piece of entertainment for an audience outside the fandom? Probably not. But now I'm feeling like even outside of the fandom with no prior knowledge, the fact that I spent the entire movie being fairly annoyed at the very special boy at the center of it, I thought was just me being shitty at a character who is a hero to a fandom, knowing now that very special boy is actually part of what that character is. I have a little bit more respect for the film.
I also love
fandom.
the fact because you have never seen.
I hope you have a little more respect for the fandom as well. Like we're not just colonials, by the way. Yeah.
Because I think there is a very easy reading of this film, which is colonialism's good.
Oh, that's something that, oh my God, it gets me so hard. It is so easy.
For colonialism?
But this is definitely a book and just an idea that has an entry level reading and a very a far more
nuanced kind of nuanced.
Not just nuanced, but it's far more helpful to everyone to have the more complicated reading. It is not. I mean, when you first see Special Boy, exactly, it looks exactly like Special Boy, and I would absolutely say yes. Peter is absolutely right. It looks like Special Boy shows up and teaches brown desert people how to be cool. And the important part is this guy is terrible. He's terrible. He's an awful, awful person made by so much
religion,
politics and religion. Yeah. The Bene Gesserit have planted ideas for 1,500 years to tell the people that live there, someone will show up and be really awesome. And then this guy shows up and everyone goes, oh, he's really awesome. But everybody's being played, including Paul.
Yeah, so that's a relief to me because I basically thought that I was hating on the Luke Skywalker of the Dune fandom.
Oh my God!
So I was like, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to have to tell these people that I think their hero is shit.
He's not our hero. He is not our hero. He is our exemplar of a man in power who should not be trusted.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes me that does change my opinion of my viewing of it. But unfortunately, I had to have it explained to me.
Yeah, which
I had to have explained to me that the way it was reading in the film was the way it was supposed to read in the film, and not just a white male director making a very special boy character.
In Villeneuve's defense, I don't think that he put that much of that in there. I think that's why the film suffers as a result, because there's only enough in there for people that are in the fandom to actually read it. And I think there's a lot of stuff in the film which works to the film's detriment that is just there for him to wave at the fandom and say, I understand how the rest of this story progresses.
Because it feels like he's supposed to be the hero. When by the time you get to the end of the film, it feels like to an unknowing audience that, okay, this is basically the Luke Skywalker of the Dune universe, and he's going to lead these guys to some kind of
At least they had I mean, I liked in this one that they at least explained that kind of stuff going through it, is that the visions that he's having of the future, or the visions that people have, is like, you will lead a crusade that will just be a torrent of bloody war across the universe.
And let's call it what it's actually called in the book.
Jihad.
A jihad. It's a jihad, yeah.
And they do that, and it's like, here are you commanding armies of people who are just like cutting people down across planets, like just taking over. and all the while magnanimously just still sort of sitting there going, yes, poor little rich boy went to planet, became God.
But also,
Yeah.
we have created poor little witch boy, and we have molded him and sculpted him. We have turned him into a weapon. We have turned him into a somebody who can affect other people's minds. We have been teaching him the ways that we're not meant to teach him because that's illegal. And basically, we've done everything we can to turn this guy into the Messiah that we have been setting up. So, hey, look at that.
I just say, as a note on casting, Timothy Chalamet has excellent, very special boy energy.
Oh my God! Oh, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
I love
Absolutely.
I love him as fabulous clothes horse Timothy Chalamet. He's just standing there going. He looks like he's built for a red carpet. You're just like, Tim, wear this. Off you go, man.
Oh my God. I love that so much. Fabulous clothes horse Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, and that's why
also
he has
pronounced.
like 2 E's in his name.
Timothy
Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Seriously.
But yeah, like this is the whole sort of the stuff that I was picking up with the casting, going from the Kyle MacLachlan version to this Timothy Chalamet version. I was like, okay, so Kyle MacLachlan had a bit more of the hero about him, whereas this guy is a wet fish that is literally being manipulated by everyone around him. And when he's like, I'm gonna like, I think the only, and this is the whole thing that I love about it. In this, it's very clearly explained, or it was explained to me, is that instead of him being this person who's going to like is bred to become like this tool of the political and religious machinations, there was one critical
Bene
error.
Gesserits,
One critical error in the Bene Gesserits that they didn't quite understand is that his exposure to spice made him a little bit too powerful and then uncontrollable, and that's going to be a real problem for the political Bene Gesserit. People. Anyway, but I liked how that was explained because it was not explained in the first one, like in the
in the Lynch version.
No. And Peter, just to give you a little bit of understanding about this, in the David Lynch version, they couldn't explain the fighting style. Like on film, they didn't have any how to understand what the weirding way was. How do you communicate that? So instead of making it a fighting style,
it was so good. It was so.
They made
it.
They made it in the Lynch version a vocal amplifying gun that would turn like sounds into weapons. So they turned his name Muad'Dib into a thing that would shoot like a sound cannon and blow stuff up, and it was stupid.
Muad'Dib.
Yeah. It's like the Fosforo of everything. But anyway,
good? Okay,
sorry, I just wanted to say on that point of the fighting, like I found it interesting that like whilst this concept of the fighting and the weirding way and everything is kind of important to the characters, I still had this weird feeling while I was watching it of going, we're not explaining that, are we? Okay, so they just run around and do fighting. In the 2021 one, I didn't get a feeling of like there is anything particularly special. They just seemed like they were capable of fighting really well.
They just fight.
There's a little part of me that
like
missed
super wushu.
Well, that was when they were in the ornithopter and Paul and Jessica were
the
trying
speaking,
to talk,
the voice.
and
Yes.
that is what the weirding way is.
But okay, so then Dion has a different sort of idea of it, that there is also a combat version.
But that's because David Lynch has got into his brain and told him that those two are the same thing. That's not the same thing. Yeah.
Right.
There's the Bene Gesserit weirding voice that is, it's basically having a confidence so compelling that it tells other people to do things that you want them to do. The Bene Gesserit are weird as hell. Like, I mean, if we're going to really get into it, the Bene Gesserit can alter their own vaginal chemistry to hypnotize people into like, you can, if you put your penis in a Bene Gesserit, you will then do whatever they want for the rest of the. And it's all like.
Wait, was Dune written by a man?
Yes.
It's like, wait, was it?
I love that you had to think about that. I really do. Not obvious that this was written by a man.
I know.
Predicanga is calling you out on this one and saying that's the honor of Maestros.
He wrote it originally because he was an ecological journalist, and he was sent out to try and figure out why the Californian dunes, sand dunes, were being eroded. And he went out there to do that and looked out there and went, wait, I have an idea for like 6 books of science fiction insanity. Wife, you must make sure that I can eat food and keep writing for 6 years. Do that. Would you please? And she was like, oh, I guess I believe in you. Okay. And he's like, great, I'm going to write. And then he made like the best-selling science fiction
Bene
book of all
Gesserit,
time.
Sandworm, Spice Planet, Harkonnen Lovebot.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. I mean, this. Okay.
I'm
sorry.
Wait. Okay.
Wait.
Can we go into? I mean, I know at this point, we all have different understandings of the story and different understandings of the Lynch version and the Villeneuve version. Let's go straight to Villeneuve and talk about the casting.
Yes.
Okay. And I would very much like to open this up because as a big Dune head, one of the things that was really very controversial was Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. And
the potato guy.
Yeah. My own private Duncan Idaho. Yeah.
But technically speaking, he should come back and everyone can have their own private Duncan Idaho because he's a robot. Anyway, we'll get to there.
You said you hadn't read it. Have you read it?
I read a Wikipedia entry or two.
Oh God! That's a
different.
spoiler even for me, and I didn't know that. So
No, that comes back later. It's like
You're talking like 2 novels from now.
yeah.
That's
It's
okay.
not in part 2 of the film, Quinny. I'm not spoiling that.
Okay, so there were a lot of people who were very iffy about Jason Momoa being Duncan Idaho, and I feel so proud early on to have been one of the guys that went, I am absolutely 100% on board. Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho is a perfect casting. Perfect casting. That's what Duncan Idaho is all about.
Yeah, just Jason Momoa. Everyone knows what they're getting when they hire Jason Momoa. You're not hiring him because he's a great character actor. You just need a Jason Momoa.
You just need Jason Momoa. That's who Duncan Idaho is. And oh my God. And Gurney Halleck. Like, I mean, we know Gurney Halleck, who was in the
84. Gurney Halleck in the 1984 version was played by Patrick Stewart.
Would you please be quiet?
Was he?
Please be quiet.
And who else was he in?
Please be quiet. Just because that I'm talking to a bunch of people online and there's like 200 people watching.
Yeah.
That's kind.
thanks, mate.
He's so kind.
Okay.
No. So where are we up to? Gurney
Sorry,
Halleck?
he's playing yokai. What are you playing? What are you playing? He's playing Blade.
Beyblades.
Beyblades.
Oh my God, too many Beyblades. Okay, I believe in you. I love Beyblades, but please, for the love of God, this is the only thing that I know about. So I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so
wait, we're up to
Gurney.
was it Patrick Stewart?
Yeah, Patrick Stewart was Gurney in the 1984 Lynch version.
Yeah.
You know, with the whole, moods are a thing for passion and love play, blah, blah, blah.
We actually have that clip if you would like to.
Oh, do we?
Because
May we? Can we, please?
yes,
I've got the old versus
Candle and love
new
play.
knife fight. I'll
Yeah,
I'll
so
wrap it up.
this is a wonderful example of looking at the 1984 version as opposed to the 2021 version of basically exactly the same scenes.
Oh, there's so many. Oh my God, there's so many scenes that are exactly.
And during
Thank
the
you.
rolling, we won't. Yes, we won't be.
I'll shut up. I'll shut up, Quinny.
I'm not in the mood.
Not in the mood. Mood's a thing for cattle and love play, not fighting.
I'm sorry, Gurney.
Not sorry enough.
I guess I'm not in the mood today.
Mood? What's mood to do with it? You fight when the necessity arises, no matter the mood. Now fight!
What's wrong with Gurney? He's not making this.
Now, guard yourself for truth. Come on!
Sorry. Well, there we go. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
There we go. I didn't push
Well,
the button.
Thank you.
The understanding is that, like, Peter, who has only seen the Villeneuve version, has no idea about the weird cubist. Yeah, it was all hand animated.
Yeah, which does
Yeah.
my head in.
Yeah, it's like crazy ridiculous. And it just made it. You couldn't see what anything was going on.
But I kind of liked that. I liked the idea that, you know, these shields were clunky and they were kind of, you know, simplistic, but also they served a point, which was to protect you visually so people couldn't see what you were doing. Whereas I was I was disappointed by the new version because one of the things that is sort of in the thing is that laser guns and stuff like that don't kind of really work because of these shields.
Yeah.
And
Well,
only
high-velocity
things that move
projectiles
slow
don't
enough.
work, yeah.
Sorry, Dale?
I said high velocity projectiles don't work. And I kind of like how they thought that out. They went, yeah, there's two types of warfare in 10,000 years in the future when everyone is there. You either have to use like slow bladed weapons to try and cut through someone's personal shield, or you just bombard them from space with rockets. Like there is no in between. It's not like, yes, we're going to do this. You know, it's like there's two versions. Everyone's got a personal shield, so fuck that. You either have to get close enough to like slide it in and try and stab them, or
that's one of those. That's one of those things. When the you know, if you're one of the people that read the books, blah 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 blah. If you try and use atomics against shields, it creates an explosion so ridiculous that it will destroy all of Arrakis.
Yeah,
and that's why that shields have this almost sacred quality, which I think is another thing that was only there for fans of the actual story, like the books. And there's I think this is a really well-made movie that suffers a lot because it doesn't give anything to people that haven't read this story, right?
Yes. So apparently, though, it's if you use a laser on a shield, it causes an atomic explosion.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So that's why you can't use it. It has to be.
Do you have Wikipedia open right now?
No. We have a live
in the chat
who's telling
just
us
like
when we're wrong.
correction, sir, which is great. Like, don't you love being walking around? Someone's like correction. Having the internet there is amazing. Like, I love it.
There are other things that are missing from this, and there are like one of them is a thing that I kind of thought at the time when I was watching, and I was like, oh, okay. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm annoyed that it is missing. There is, so one of the reasons, and it is vaguely explained throughout the thing, is what spice is for. So spice that is mined on Arrakis is used for interstellar travel. But it's not actually explained particularly well in the film what part of interstellar travel it actually does. And what it does is essentially drug up some weird creatures that can fold space using only their brains.
Yeah.
And they've been so heavily exposed to spice that they've mutated and turned into big, weird things with vagina mouths. Yes, it was written by a man.
That was not explained at all. I was like, how is, like, this thing is important for interstellar travel, but how? It must go in a machine. I don't know.
But why?
Yeah.
Massive leap of suspension of disbelief at the very beginning of the movie.
And I think it's actually really important to explain that.
You're right. It is absolutely super, super duper important.
And the other weird thing is that the way that there's a design thing that Villeneuve's gone for that I kind of enjoyed, but also kind of didn't. So interstellar travel in this appears to be done through these big tubes, like just hanging above the planet. There's these big grey tubes.
The tube ships are quite common in some
They
of the
are,
art.
but in this one, all we ever see is them hanging above the planet and then things flying out of them. Yeah. So I kind of had the thing of going, we never actually see them coming into there. They are just hanging there. And I had a weird thing of going, in my mind, I was like, what if they're, man-made wormholes that, you fly in one end, fold space.
Well, they are. They totally are.
But once again, something that probably would have helped to be explained.
I mean, there was so much explaining already, to be honest.
Yeah, and that is
there's
true.
a problem.
That is
There's a problem in there. The 1984 one had a lot, like
way more explanation. Every
how it was half as long.
Oh my god!
They didn't have cinematography. They just had exposition.
The 1984. Okay, after we've had this conversation, you should absolutely go and watch the 1984 because there's an opening part, like the opening 10 minutes of the Alan Smithy, David Lynch version of Dune has the most incredible exposition dump, which is like the daughter of the emperor basically just looks straight to camera and goes, and also then we can totally do this because of the spice. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we can do this as well. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that this is really important. You should definitely remember this. Oh, wait, I totally forgot to mention, we can also do this, blah, blah, blah. It is one of the worst kind of narration versions of exposition dumps you've ever see. And Dino De Laurentiis was there poking David Lynch in the side going, hey, make sure they know how to do this, make sure they know how this works, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's a big world.
There's a limit, I guess, if you're coming in fresh on a story like this as to how much of the world you need to know. If it's a world that's been built over 6 novels, there is kind of a limit to how much detail you're able to give a fresh audience in 2 hours and 40 minutes, particularly if you want to slide some plot in there as well. I felt like there was lots of explanation. I have to admit, yes, I was a little bit weirded out that I didn't really understand. I honestly thought spice must go into a machine to make some navigator thing work. I don't really care that I didn't know the detail of that. I wasn't asking.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
The only question that I really got stuck on was the aerodynamics of those weird dragonfly planes, because I don't think that would work.
The ornithopters. Yeah. I am. Oh my gosh. This is just going to be me sounding like I'm waving my dick around, but I have, I'm one of those science guys, and I hang around with a bunch of other science guys, and we've done a lot of calculations and ornithopters are totally viable. They're just massively inefficient and terrible. It's an awful idea. Don't ever do ornithopters.
You know, weird thing, I really got stuck on it. I got really distracted halfway through the film thinking, no, I don't think that'd be a good way to build a plane.
Oh my God, it's really awful because it absolutely works, but it absolutely depends on your altitude. And if you,
I love it.
The rest,
I need to go into the detail of it now.
Okay. The rest of this is totally boring. It works. Yes, it totally works, but it absolutely depends on differential pressure and altitude. And most of what Villeneuve did made sense. And I've had extensive conversations on forums with other Dune nerds going, hey, do you think Villeneuve was okay with the ornithopters? And some of us are really pissed off, and some of us are like, oh no, that totally works.
What about the sand tent? No, I think we get okay. We've been around a fair bit.
I'm so sorry.
We have been reminded by Amy that we should probably do a rating because
a rating.
Normally we do a rating and then we'll go into spoiler territory. But then again, I don't know.
We haven't even gotten into casting.
Yeah. That's the thing.
We've touched on some.
Did we like Leto? Did we like Leto?
Leto, awesome. Leto, awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
I like Leto as well. And I don't understand why he just flies stuff in every movie, science fiction movies in nowadays. He's always
because
flying.
they fly now. They fly now.
They fly now.
That's why.
Did we enjoy Stellan Skarsgård as Vladimir Harkonnen?
Oh.
Take that as a yes.
I didn't. I actually kind of like the crazier, sort of weirdly pustulant 84 Lynch version.
You like the Scottish ginger.
Yeah. But I did like I like how menacing he was. Like Skarsgård's Baron Harkonnen was very menacing. I like that physicality, but I didn't get the same kind of
amazing,
disgusting Harkonnen, corpulent, pustulant.
The weird thing was I was getting such a Brando's Kurtz.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God! Absolutely.
And I thought I was imagining it, but then they did the Willard coming out of the water shot, and I was like, was I not imagining it? Is he getting Brando's Kurtz on
you
purpose?
are so right. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right, Peter. Oh my gosh! When I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, anyone who has not seen, who is not a Dune person, is immediately going to think, you're a grocery boy sent to collect the bill, blah, blah, blah. It absolutely Kurtz. It was Kurtz.
But there were multiple, Apocalypse Now shots in this Dune as well.
Sunsets. The framing of the shots. So many, Apocalypse Now shots. When he was rising, no doubt. Absolutely. Well caught. Because I was looking at that and going, is somebody not going to catch this guy on this?
Again, it was nothing. It was distracting me because I was like, am I crazy? Am I making this up in my head? Or is this very deliberate? Because it feels deliberate
how
to
do
me.
we feel with Glossu Raban? Good old Dave.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing.
He was seriously used in the David Lynch version, and I actually kind of liked how he was a bit dumbly menacing in this one. But also, I still don't think the Harkonnens are too bad. They didn't do anything that was too bad, except for making a weird six-legged.
I will kill you where you stand. The casting in this movie is, I think, the singularly most incredible part of this whole film. The casting was amazing. Amazing.
Okay, I do want to pull one out. Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. Fascinating because they've actually given her a lot more to do.
She is Lady Jessica's so incredible. Oh my God, she's so incredible.
Once again, to compare to the 1984, she's an incredibly important character who is responsible for so much of what goes on, but gets absolutely sidelined in that film.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one,
surprise.
Yeah.
Peter.
Yes.
Peter. Oh my God, Peter. I beg of you, Peter. When they make the sequel, just watch Lady Jessica. Just watch. Lady Jessica becomes the axis mundi. She is the axis upon which all of the universe turns. She is amazing. She is why anything happens. And oh my God.
It's true.
If I were an actress and anybody offered me any role and it was this one, and and they said, hey, if this first one works, we get to do a second one, I would, oh my God, I would absolutely. Because, oh my God, she becomes the reason why anyone does anything forever. Yeah.
Say if there's a character that I'm looking forward to in the part 2 movie, it would be to see more of Zendaya, because I'm not sure who that character is, but she's wonderful, and in this film she was basically just Special Boy's fantasy girl.
Yes,
a bit of an annoy.
Like Manic Spice Fantasy Dream Girl.
Manic Desert Dream Pixie Dust. Pixie Dust magnate of the desert planet Arrakis. And also, she's quite pissed off because she was like, I thought I was in this more. It's like, you probably were shot quite that way, but also...
in the trailer she was.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, she has said that she's disappointed, or she thought she was in it more, but also, I do remember seeing another interview with her where she said, I only shot like 2 days on it, so I know I'm going to be more in the second film.
Yeah.
Like, I think
like she hasn't got other shit to do. She's got a whole spider universe to be part of. Like,
and I was at least glad to see that the Fremen in this one felt like they were that they were of the desert. There was a lot more interesting casting of people from different backgrounds.
Dude.
Because one of the problems with the 84 version is that it's all so fucking white. Like for a show that is supposedly about people talking about, Arab or Middle Eastern things like that, it was astonishingly white.
Yeah,
this is one of those things you really need to go back into the reasons why Frank Herbert wrote this book the way that he did.
Is this because it's the oil expansion in the Middle East, and that's basically what it's all about?
There is a novel. Well, I say a novel. It's a series of diary entries of a woman who was working into the expansion into the Middle East, and basically complaining about why white people were doing what they're doing. And that was one of the inspirations into why Frank Herbert wrote this book. And it's why, and I want to make this very, very clear on behalf of all of my other Dune fans, why you never, ever listen to a charismatic leader who tells you that this is a great reason to do X, Y, or Z. Yeah. Never, ever do that. That is the real story behind
Is the
Dune.
person you're thinking of Gertrude Bell? Is that who it
Maybe.
Yes. Could be Gertrude Bell, who was just upset with the entire European nation coming in and deciding what was supposed to happen in the Middle East, and then created all the problems. She sat there going, hey, what you're doing is causing a lot of problems. You should really not do that. And they did it anyway. And now we have the Middle East crisis. Anyway, Back to Dune.
Anyway, well, that's a turn from
Yeah.
already intense conversation.
Sure. Let's go down that road. Oh dear.
Can I nerd out a little bit just on the mechanics of this film, because this is obviously
Oh my God, I would love to
film.
just Can we just talk? I'm sorry. Yeah, can we please just talk about just what it looks like? Because it's been so political, but it looks pretty. Doesn't it look pretty?
It's a very, very pretty film.
It's so pretty. Oh my God.
It's a very pretty film. My one issue with the prettiness, because the cinematography is, very much like in the Blade Runner movie, beautiful.
Yes.
And grand and big and kind of captures the bigness of the world. And this wouldn't be one of my normal criticisms. I felt like there are quite a few points where the editing kind of undermines that for me. And I'm not picky about cutting. I would not usually notice it. When you've got a scene where there are two characters having a conversation in featureless grey mist, and you're cutting between two shots of the exact same size, and it just looks like they're teleporting from one side of the screen to the other. What a weird decision for a very big budget film.
Yeah. I know that was. There are some really weird like A and Bs.
Yeah.
Some
weird shots that were just too quick, because I was really enjoying the bigness of the shot, and it just kind of cuts away from it with no ceremony. It's, there was some odd choices, I think, in that respect.
Some of the when they were having the duel, right? When the Fremen catch Jessica and Paul, and they're on the rocks and they're having that weird, and there's a bunch of A and Bs going on, and some of them were really weirdly put together. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about much, much earlier in the film, where Paul is talking to what's her name in that grey mist after he does the hand painty thing.
The Bene Gesserit, yeah. What's in the box? Yeah, the Bene Gesserit.
Just paint.
Grand Mohim.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not like a huge. It certainly wouldn't make me downrate the film hugely, but I thought it was interesting, given what a kind of big budget film this is. That there are a couple of things in there that were really noticeable in my book that just weren't as maybe smooth as they could have been in the cutting, and that always makes me kind of wonder why.
Totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That we like when they were trying to take from dream sequence to reality, like back and forth. Some of that was a little kludged, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Having said that, there's a lot that I loved about it. I really liked the effects, the non-Cubist effects on the shield suits, and I really liked the fight choreography. Not having any understanding of what style of fighting this is supposed to be, I enjoyed watching it. Those scenes were kind of entertaining and beautiful to me, because it's a very beautiful style of fight choreography. It's almost like dancing. So, again, without any of the background of what it's supposed to be, I found a lot of enjoyment in those elements of it.
Yeah. I think there is a lot to love here. There's a magnificent score that is just,
Hans Zimmer again.
We haven't even mentioned the score. This is the first time we've mentioned the score.
I mean, the score is deeply Zimmery, isn't it?
It's so Zimmer.
It's so Zimmer. It's Zimmer. Yeah. But then there's bagpipes.
Yeah.
Bagpipes.
or there's throat singing.
But there's no theme. There is no theme.
Yeah. And that's what's kind of nice about it. It feels like, I think, there's so many good ideas in there that have been tried to be realized, and it's working sort of well all the way, because they just kind of go, hey, it's all Earth cultures pushed together in one, because we're 10,000 years in the future. So ideologies behind certain things that we have that are cultural differences now are mashed. So sometimes it works really well, and other times it was a little bit weird. But I really liked Dune.
See,
I really liked Dune.
My favorite scene was a scene that probably wouldn't register on many people's radar because I thought it was the one that did the most subtle and interesting world building. So at one point, I think Paul is walking around outside in the sun on Arrakis, and there are the palm trees that are being watered. And it was one of those scenes that I don't remember at all from the 84 one. It may have been in there, but
it wasn't in the 84 one.
Then that's good. Because I remember watching it, I was watching it and I was thinking, that's more interesting. You know, this says why, like, this is about the depth of religion and the depth of history on this planet. And the fact that 100 men's worth of water every day is used just to keep these plants alive because of their belief, not because of money, not because of
and the idea that immediately is like,
spice.
oh, we should remove them, and they're like, oh my god, no.
Well,
and that was interesting because
Paul
it was also
suggested,
and it was also the idea that, you know, somebody like Paul who is wanting to be, you know, so magnanimous and stuff like that, and goes, there's so much water being wasted here, we should get rid of them. It's like, fuck you, white boy savior, you don't know what you're doing. You have walked into this place and have no fucking clue what you're doing, and potentially are going to do more damage to these people in trying to help them. And I thought that was a really interesting moment, and I wanted more of that kind of thing. I mean, it's pretty, it's big, like it's grand fucking scale.
Conceptually, it's very big, very, very big.
But I'm also enjoying it. Like, I know that a lot of the complaints about it have been, oh, it's very long and it goes on. And I finished watching this.
Really?
One and I was like,
did you really think that it was?
No. I mean, some people, like other
it was so short.
But I watched it and I was like, so where's part 2? I would like to watch this again. Can we get?
Okay, so when you got to the end and you went, man, that seemed really short, and then afterwards you went, oh God, that was really long, because you looked and saw that it was 2.5 hours, but it didn't seem like 2.5 fucking hours, right?
Didn't it? I think I may have texted you guys at one point. I feel like I've been watching Dune for days.
Yes.
Oh, fuck off, mate. I was there. I would look, okay.
But there's 3.5 hours.
Get ready for this
Dune.
right now. I got a whole bunch of shit I got to deal with right now for Fringe Festival, but I got up at 3 a.m. I wanted to watch this in IMAX, so I got up at 3 a.m. and I sat in that armchair right over there, and I watched the whole movie, and to me it felt like 20 fucking minutes.
But you love the subject matter. And you know the subject matter. So your brain is filling in. As you're watching it, your brain is filling in this world. On a
when you put your arms
watch,
up, everything disappears. I love it. Do it more.
I'm just a floating head.
You're Holly from Red Dwarf.
I feel like if your brain isn't filling a very rich world into this story while you're watching it, it does. It's not a short movie.
That's why I definitely want to say I think Villeneuve's idea that he wants to tell the fans that he knows this story is a detriment to the way the film actually expresses itself.
I think you may be right. I think that a filmmaker who was more invested in telling a succinct and cohesive story would have made a tighter, probably better film.
Big call.
Yes.
Big call.
Telling a story that maybe had a beginning, middle, and an end.
Because this
is great.
This has been
There is no way you could take the subject matter that Villeneuve was given and be able to make a beginning, middle, and end. There's no way.
Didn't Lynch
absolutely
do it?
No way.
Well,
Is-
no,
is-
not,
No,
not well.
no,
This is the thing.
no
Not well.
way, no.
Like the
way,
1984
no.
David Lynch.
No.
David
Oh wait,
Lynch-
so
No.
we don't like that film.
It's terrible.
Nobody likes that film.
It's terrible.
Even Lynch doesn't like that film. Lynch took his name off that film. Nobody likes
But you
that
need
film.
to watch it, so you just go, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" No, this is
The
what are
only,
you
yeah,
doing?
the only
I'm
reason
not going to watch
anybody
it.
watches
I'm sorry. That
Oh,
I draw
well, you
lines. I
should.
will read the
It's
book before I
amazing.
watch the 1984 film. And I actually downloaded the audiobook. I thought that I would listen to it before I watched this, but then I just
Actually,
really
you should
couldn't be
totally
bothered.
like the original audiobook is totally amazing, and you should definitely listen to everything. The whole story is incredible. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So that's
But,
our love. I think we're getting way over time, but that's
Oh, yeah,
that's
sorry,
amazing.
sorry.
No, this is amazing.
I just want to say, Jason Momoa, awesome. Jason Momoa, awesome. Josh Brolin totally like kicked it in the dick. I did not expect him to. Amazing.
Okay, so if we rate it, like Magnus, I'll give you some time to think because you're not comfortable with this thing. We usually rate things out of 100 about how.
Oh!
Yeah, I find it easier to start with 100
86.
and then done. Okay,
Damn.
great. Magnus is done. And tell us in the chat too if you've got your ratings of what the new Dune was. But Magnus has come out of the gate with 86. Now I'm going to switch to
It's
Peter,
it's
because-
86. It's not perfect. A lot of it is fucked. The casting amazing. It's so weird because if you're into the fandom, there's a lot of Villeneuve there going, "Hey, I'm a fan. Please love my movie." If you're not a fan, like if you're like Peter, you've never seen any of this, you'd be there going, "What the fuck are you doing?" A lot of this is boring. A lot of this is dumb. A lot of this is like needs further explanation. And why the hell are you doing this?
And it's always
that
the
would
problem
probably
with
get a
adaptations.
45.
It's the problem
Yeah.
with adaptations in general, and we talk about this a lot when we view adaptations, particularly when there are those of us who are really emotionally connected to the subject matter. Particularly with an adaptation of a book, it's just not possible
It's nice. Yeah.
to make everyone happy. And I do find that there are some film adaptations that work much better as companions to the source material than they do as individual films. And I feel like this may be one of them. Having said that, I didn't think it was a terrible film. And to be honest, my opinion of it has gone up since this conversation, because a lot of the things that I was reading into it that pissed me off, I've now realised were deliberate choices and not just the subject matter that pisses me off. So I'm gonna go higher than I was gonna go, and I'm going to give it a 70 because it was a beautiful film, and
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
and I'm not disinterested in seeing the second part eventually, although I'm not super excited about it because that's a long
But you put
wait.
your foot down when it comes to the 1984 one. You're like, nope, never going to watch it.
And I feel like now, having had this conversation, that Villeneuve actually was a lot more successful in building the character of Paul than I felt he was when I watched it, because I honestly thought that he was supposed to be a hero and that I was reading him as a villain. Apparently, I'm reading him how he's supposed to be read. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah.
So
you are reading him correctly. When you look at him and you think, this is a pretty white boy who has been made to pretend to be the savior for a bunch of people who already know how to live, you are reading it correctly.
I'm going to say, Missy's asking me, is that my recommendation based on not knowing the backstory? It is, but it's based on not knowing the backstory and having a strong interest in sci-fi and enjoying a particular kind of filmmaking. I would not recommend this to everyone. I would not recommend this if you don't have a strong interest in sci-fi, and I would not recommend this if you don't have an enjoyment of big, beautiful, languid films that take a little while to get where they're going.
Languid is right. Languid is absolutely correct.
But I love
this is
big weird.
He's
languid
looking for languid
things like Annihilation. You know, that was the same kind of thing. Sometimes just watching the scenes, going, "How pretty." What's this got to do with the plot? Don't care.
Oh, bollocks
Pretty.
to Annihilation. Bollocks to that movie. Fuck off.
Yeah, it had interesting ideas. I guess I was looking at this one. Sorry, Dion, do you have a number?
I do.
Good.
I just
I'm
want
glad.
to. I just want to.
So happy.
I needed a speed bump you there. That was just for fun. I haven't been around for a while, Kenny. It's been 5 weeks, and I haven't been around to do that to you, just to annoy the shit out of you. I actually really, really liked it. I didn't get to see it for the first time in the cinema, and I thought that would detract from the experience. I was really trying to hold out to watch it on the big screen, and then just didn't. It was time poor. And now I would go again and watch it on the big screen because I think it's kind of one of those bit of event things. But yeah, I understand the frustrations people have with it by going, if you don't know Dune or you're not interested in Dune, you're going to go along and turn up and be like, huh? Anyone who's like that, I would say, wait till they come out and watch them in a double feature back to back.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm at.
Absolutely.
It will do better in cinemas if the cinemas package it and go 1 and 2 together with an intermission for 20-minute break in between for a drink and a snack and a shit, whatever. Look, I actually had a really good time with it, so I was going to give it 80.
80.
Whoa!
Yes, I give it 80 out of 100. I did actually have a nice time with it. And Duncan Idaho Potato was great, and the cast was all great. And I even liked the new butthole worms. I
thought the casting was fantastic. Yeah.
Of the Shai Hulud.
Yes.
I thought the Shai Hulud was great. Yeah. I really love the Shai Hulud.
And what's the knife?
Bless the maker. Bless his coming and going.
What's the knife? Yes. I've forgotten the knife.
Chris knife.
You got like.
No. I liked that new design. That kind of thing.
Like that.
It looked like it was a one of those teeth from the new.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I liked it.
They even say that in the film.
I know that they say it.
It is the teeth of the maker.
But in the 84 one, it's designed, it's carved, it looks like a fucking fantasy dagger.
Yeah.
Like in this one, just looks like a fucking they've got a tooth off it and they just stab people with it. Great. Down.
Which is what it's supposed to look like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, cool.
My number is somewhere in between all of these. I think for me it's 75. I think it is it's a filmmaker's film. Like Villeneuve is having a fucking ball
absolutely.
And just going, I want to put the visuals on screen that I've had in my head since I was a kid. And I want to have a visual language that is telling this story, and I've got this beautiful idea for what the Baron's going to look like, and I know what my Leto is going to look like, and I know all these things. But I think he has gotten caught up in his love of it and has somewhat forgotten that, he has to tell a story at a pace that is going to work for everybody. But people have sort of said, Lord of the Rings does that thing where you get to the end of the first film and you go, oh, hang on, the story's not finished. But you get to the end of Lord of the Ring, of Fellowship of the Ring, and it feels like there's an ending there. This doesn't feel like a fucking ending.
Yeah.
Like literally, they wandered off into the desert and I just went, where the fuck are they going? Oh shit, we've finished.
and I have to admit to being a bit prepared for that because you guys had already complained to me about it. Yeah. So I possibly would have been more pissed off if I hadn't been expecting it.
Here's the ending. Look at all this cool Fremen shit. Anyway, bye now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I think that's okay. I think that's one of these weird intersections where you get to the level of a novel and the level of a movie. You need 90 pages, right, to make a movie work, and this novel does not work in that context. But Villeneuve is so determined that I think he's sacrificed even maybe some of his own career in order to make this movie go ba 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 ba, and it stops here.
And I mean, it was a ballsy move because he didn't know he was getting a sequel. Like it wasn't greenlit until this one made money. So I was like, fucking wow.
Yeah. In the hopes that people would go, this is interesting enough that I want to see more of this happen.
I think it's the fans that are drawing that, because if everybody was like you, Pete, and got to the end of that film and went 2 years for a sequel, no, I'm good.
Nah, yeah. I agree. Well, I agree with Pete totally. That's fucked. It's fucked. Dude, I'm not that interested in like Special Boy and Brown Girl getting it on maybe in the next one. Fuck you. Like, just like, if it doesn't work in 90 minutes or 2.5 hours, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So look, I feel like it's almost like there's like an ego thing that we need to make this a big feature film, when like as a person coming into it, surely it would have worked better a television series at the scale of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
You know, the scale and budget of Game of Thrones, because I'm getting from you that there's a lot more story even outside what we're going to see in this part 1 and this part 2. But that's just me. That's me thinking, I would have preferred to watch this in 3 sittings, not 1, because it was long for me.
So would
I want to keep watching now, but my interest is going to wane. So they're going to have to get me back in 2 years when this next movie comes out, and they're going to have to work hard at that.
It should have been a Netflix 3-part something. Yeah. Absolutely.
If you feel like ever exploring the concept, you can go and have a look at the Sci-Fi Channel Dune series, which is
actually
a 3-part
really good
miniseries.
It's actually really, really good. It's really, really good.
It doesn't have the budget.
Harkonnen especially.
It does not have the budget, but it does have enthusiasm.
William Hurt.
The Baron Harkonnen is really good. Check it out.
That if you want to have a look at it and go, how does this work? And also they did the sequel as well, Children of Dune. So if you really get on board with that.
With young James McAvoy.
Yeah. And if you want, and this is my, Dion has something very special for us to go out on, but I am going to run up the flag for something else. There is a documentary that has been around for a few years now called Jodorowsky's Dune. So, Magnus clearly has some feelings on it.
There's a quick review.
Look, okay, Jodorowsky's Dune brought together a bunch of people that made Aliens. They made like RoboCop. They made all of the best movies of the 80s. But if Jodorowsky's Dune was actually ever made, it would have been a fucking shit show.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So Alexander Jodorowsky was set out to try and make Dune as a 6-hour-long movie, and was going to have an incredible cast in it, like including Pablo Picasso.
Pablo Picasso, Mick Jagger.
That's it.
Mick Jagger. Oh my god!
I mean, they had Sting in the David Lynch one, so you know.
At least Sting had a great codpiece.
He did.
But also the thing that is interesting from that there was enough work done on that film that there are designs. So H.R. Giger, the guy who created the Alien, did a bunch of design work for Jodorowsky's Dune, to the point where there's actually a bunch of chairs that you can buy that are Giger chairs, which are called the Harkonnen chairs. So he did all of the designs for those. Yeah. So it would have been
most of which burned down.
Yes, unfortunately. Would have been fascinating to see what that film was, but also that's one of those cinematic bullets that you can dodge a la fucking Neo in the Matrix, because it would have been a shit show. You are correct, Magnus.
Yeah, it would. Okay, people keep talking about this. Jodorowsky's Dune. Oh my God, it would have been this incredible thing that made everybody's brains explode and made them all super geniuses. Wrong! It would have been terrible. It would have been a terrible, terrible, terrible movie.
Somebody wants to watch your 6-hour movie, Martin Scorsese.
Fuck off. Fuck off, mate.
I've put
Yeah.
the link to a trailer for the documentary, which is called Hodorowski's Dune.
It's a fantastic documentary. It
That's
is
the
an
thing.
amazing documentary.
It's a wonderful documentary that's up there with Lost in La Mancha in terms of looking at a filmmaker trying to do something and the universe saying, sit the fuck down.
Well, I think that might be enough for us, though. Thank you so much for coming along, Magnus, and telling
Dion,
us.
I believe you've got something amazing for us on the end, though.
Do you want to watch that, or do you want to play out on that one?
I want to play out on that, but I think we need to make sure we give that context before we do.
Definitely give you that context. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Magnus for coming along and talking to us. About
I'd like to thank Peter for putting up with me, because I am not in the industry and she definitely is, and I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk, and she's a genius, and you two are people I love very much.
Present.
So just play the thing.
Well, I make Australian TV documentaries, so I really don't think that I'm any more of a.
I was just going to say
my biggest credit is that I was in one of the Red Dog movies. Shut up! Just play the thing.
We don't forget that we're coming back. We're back on Friday for Hawkeye, and then next week for Wheel of Time.
What?
Coming up there, but hopefully if we don't have to change the roster due to some announcement that we're trying to figure out whether or not we have to make or not. But hey, we'll let you know on social media.
Big things are afoot at the Circle K. Let's just put it that way.
Strange things are afoot. If we have to make it a change, it's for a good reason. But yeah, come along on Friday and say hi to all of us. Yay!
Yes, we're looking forward to talking about Hawkeye. And thank you so much for joining us. I have been Quinny.
I've been Dion.
I've been Peter.
And you've been Magnus.
And yes,
my name's Magnus. Yeah!
And on the way out there, I just want to leave everyone tonight with a special trailer. This is for the Asylum. So everyone knows Asylum Films, fabulous for making Aldi brand films of famous ones. This is the trailer for their latest one. It's Planet Dune. Don't forget that it also stars Sean Young, who was in the 1984 Dune.
Oh yeah, baby! That's what I'm waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
You are going to a desert planet.
Planet Dune?
6 crew, we lost contact. We're going to send you in to rescue.
You're getting descent to Planet Dune? I have visuals and reading. Coming in hard. We gotta hurry. Oxygen's dropping faster than I'd like.
Guess we know what happened to the freighter crew.
There could still be survivors out there.
Help!
Come on, we gotta get off this truck. There's more than one worm. Go!
I'd like to request a retrieval team.
The crew's expendable. Dismissed, Captain.
God! They're not coming. Just get off this planet. Did you feel that? Do it! Look, we can't stay here.
They're too fast.
Wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros.